Looking at the menu system in front of us here, this is what we call our dual display menu system. You'll notice that it has got three sections to it. There's the left quick toolbar along the left-hand side over here. And there is a lower menu section and an upper menu section. These are copies of one another in this upper area. This allows me to have two sections or two menu functions running simultaneously. Now, by default, the bottom menu is what follows along with the switcher. So if I, for example, select a wipe in the transition area, that bottom menu with a single press automatically follows along. I don't have to sit there and double press buttons to make menu functions follow. By simply selecting the menu, it will follow along. So this bottom menu follows along with the control surface. The upper menu is a way for me to add things or pin things. So for example, if I was to have selected a still store, it's going to automatically follow to the still store menu. And maybe I want to keep that pinned while I'm working on it and doing other functions. So in the menu system, we have our navigation along the bottom, which tracks to our menu keypad on the right-hand side of the switcher module. Well, I can take that, and using the navigational buttons at the top, you'll see back, forward, copy up, and swap. So I could simply just copy up or swap menus. So now that I've swapped that menu to the top, I don't have to worry as I'm working along. I have access to that functionality. So that's the bottom and the top. On the toolbar on the left-hand side, there are three navigational buttons for each menu. There is Home, Up One, and Hold. So Up One will go one layer higher in the menu system. And we'll cover how the menu system is laid out shortly. Home will take you to the main home menu at all times. The hold function will lock that menu. So when we double tap on hold and enable it, the hold, you'll see, will lock that menu. So now that this bottom menu, we've held it to the wipe selection, when I select that still store menu, it won't change. As I go to a key or control menu, it doesn't change. Disable hold, now when I select that, of course it's going to go to that key or control function because it auto follows. So just like before, the lower menu also has a hold, up one, and a home. On the control surface, those map to the three buttons on the left-hand side. So I have a home, an up one, and a hold. Press hold, it holds. Up one is up one. Home takes us to the home menu. Also on this toolbar, we have a bunch of the quick select functions. So when we look at the bottom left, we can see switcher status. Now the switcher is good, so we have a nice green bubble. If something was not well with the switcher, this would flash us warnings, give us a red bubble, and let us know that we should click on it to jump to find out what's wrong. Now when it's green, it will take us to the complete status. We can quickly see everything is in green, everything is happy. If there was an issue, it would take us to the warnings page and show us what warnings have popped up. Even as simply as if a cable is unplugged from one of the power supplies, then it will warn us that a redundant power supply is currently not operational. Along the bottom as well, you'll notice the manuals quick select. When we select this, this is going to load to the top menu the manual. Every time we install a new version of software by downloading it from the website and doing the upgrade, it includes the menu having the full manual built in. So now I can do a split screen and I can navigate the manual. I can go to content, I can go to search, I can go to the index function. You can also put it into full screen mode, now making it easier to track and move along. And you can go coarse, you can go fine, making it very easy to read the manual. And when we look at the table of contents, if there was a specific thing I'm trying to do, like keying, you're able to click on it and it will jump to that area. So it's a really nice intuitive manual that you can follow along with. So if I was working on something to do with chroma key, for example, or memory functions, I could leave that in half screen, reading along while doing the functions on the lower menu. DVE, this will be a quick jump to the DVE menu. So whatever keyer is currently active, it'll automatically bring up the DVE menu. Custom control, this will launch the custom control shopbox. So a quick way to bring up all of my effects in a shopbox function across all banks and all custom control macros. So that's all 2,304 of them. So these correlate to the same macros that are available through the custom control macro row, through the shopbox, through attachments. It's all the same effects. This is just a soft shopbox that we can see on the screen. We have our aux bus selection. So by quickly delegating to this, it brings up our aux bus menu. Aux buses are broken up into banks. So there are 6 banks with 8 buses per bank. And this allows you to break them up and group your aux buses into different groupings, making it easier to track and navigate to them. When I select one of these, it will automatically delegate our ME1 key bus row to that aux bus. So it's a quick delegation as well to quickly delegate which aux bus I want on that unit. You can also lock an aux bus so that it can't be changed. These aux buses, if I have the backsplash module, would be delegating on the backsplash module instead. But because there's none detected, it will delegate to the key bus row for me. Next to the aux buses, we have our color scheme. So the color scheme allows me to set my panel glow and customize it to my use case, as well as just how I want it to look. There are a lot of features in the panel glow. Every ME has its own individual panel glow. The aux bus color has its own glow. The custom control row can have its own glow, as well as numerous user colors that allow you to have user color glow. User colors can be applied to crosspoints as well as inputs. You can modify each color independently. You can set up your user colors, so referring to item on color. So item on color is these white lights. It could be the item on color, which is its own default, or it could be a low tally or high tally at the same color as the ME color. So you can pick those items. There are also a bunch of pre-built color schemes. So if I go into color schemes, I can find all kinds of different pre-built ones. Of course, one of my favorite being Julie Pink. There's Hot Pink, but it doesn't compare to Julie Pink. As you can see, Julie Pink is a much more flowing, consistent color grade, very easy to make out, and it's very soft and nice for everyone. The one I use the most tends to be Island or Neon. Neon is also one of our most commonly used color schemes. On top of colors, you can adjust the mnemonics, so the red, the green, the blue, so each level of our mnemonics can be adjusted independently, and your overall mnemonic contrast, brightness as well. The display contrast can be controlled via this menu as well. And then finally, you can change the skin. This is the Acuity skin by default, but there are other skins if there was a different color type or color skin that you wanted to apply to the menu. And as you can see in the amber skin, we're able to colorize all of our custom controls to map to the same colors that we made inside of the mnemonics. However, the Acuity skin is our default. So in the color scheme, it's a quick way to jump into it from the toolbar, and otherwise you'll find it under the personality menu where it resides. Next up, Still Store. It can be quickly accessed by selecting the Still Store anywhere on the switcher, which will bring up that menu for us automatically to the ME and Still Store location, or the Still Store can be selected quickly on the left-hand side, and then I can pick my Still Store location and the channel that I want. More on Still Stores will be covered in the Still Store and Media Store section. Bus maps. Configuring our bus maps for our switcher is found under our personality menu. But because it's a function used heavily by the operator, it gets its own dedicated quick toolbar. So by quickly tapping the bus map, it will take you to the bus map menu. You can select individual bus maps, edit them, and perform that functionality. Again, when we cover configuration and bus maps, we'll get in depth on how to use them. There's a quick select for the multi-viewers. Now that we've incorporated multi-viewers directly into the production switchers at both the input and video processor levels, there's a lot of control and use to have it at the high level in the menu, making it quick to get to modify and make changes on the fly. Personality menu. The personality of the switcher, when we covered the personality section, is a heavily detailed menu that gives us a lot of control over the behavior of the production switcher. We want to leverage this to be able to tweak the switcher to our preferred use case and how we like things to function. And that's why there is a dedicated button for it. And then, of course, the installation menu. Being able to quickly jump into the installation menu to perform all the functions of configuration and setup of the production surface. So now that we understand our three regions of the menu, let's look at the menu structure. The menu structure is a hierarchy structure. And from the home menu, you can see that we call it the main menu. And at the top, it will tell us main menu 1-2. That means we're on page 1 of a total of 2 main menu pages. The other thing that gives it away is the fact that down here in the corner, you will see that there is a More button. When I click on the More button, it will go to the second page. And if there happens to be a third page in a submenu, you can press it again. And of course, I press it again, and now it toggles back to the main page. Now on the main menu, we've added a little bit more information so that from the top level, certain functionalities are able to be recognized at a glance. For starter, I know that this is the master panel. Because you can have multiple panels connected to a single chassis, 9 in total, there's a master panel which has all control functionality abilities by default, and then you can have 8 satellite panels, of which you can delegate functions as well as menu access. We know the software version that we're running, making it easy to do a quick glance when asked what version am I running. We have our system information area. So operation of video mode, quickly know what video mode I'm operating in. Remote enables, is the editor port on? Is GPI triggers enabled? And that's GPI coming in, not going out. Going out is always enabled. Coming in is just being able to disable it so that somebody couldn't accidentally press a function button or trip a trigger that would trigger an event inside of your switcher. Auto follows. Auto follows is a bus linking system within the Acuity production switcher. And when we cover our auto follow section and how to use it for multiple applications, this is where we're going to find whether or not it's active at quick glance. This is very helpful because if you're changing sources on a bus and some other bus is changing at the same time, it's a quick way to be able to notice, oh, right, auto follows are enabled. I should probably disable them if I don't want that function taking place. When I've enabled audio follow video, so I'm controlling an external audio console, this will show me whether or not audio follow video is on and what mode it's operating in. So here I can see that we've disabled audio follow video and its mode is set in standard normal mode. I can see my reference format that is coming into the switcher, so 1080i 5994 tri-level sync, and at the high level we notice right away we will show any video correction activities that are taking place, whether that be color correction, proc amp correction, smart conversion for format correction, and we also give you a quick display to let you know that all memories are currently loaded into the system. So when I reboot the switcher, or if I am to load a new file set, this will let me know when all the memories have completed their loading. It happens very quickly, but it's good to know that all of them have completed. So if I recall, say, memory 999, if it hasn't located yet, obviously those functions won't recall. Now from the main menu, we have tried to bring the most used functional menus to the surface. So we have our custom control menu, which is the first button on the main menu. So when I'm building my custom control effects, my timelineable event system, so I go into my custom control menu and I select, for example, my replay in macro, and I see replay in is selected, bank 1, macro 4, right? And there's a legend here letting me know, does it contain information? Is it a normal custom control button? Is it a bank button? Is it a bank selector button? Is the button not present on the control surface? So it could be a macro that isn't available to the control surface, is only available through the shop box or through automation. And finally, a relative macro type. When we cover custom controls and how to build custom controls, all of this will be covered on. But as you can see, just by looking at it, a custom control is a timelineable event. We have a timeline of the event with a list of the events on the right, and as we move through each event taking place, you'll notice all of these events took place on that first keyframe-like element. You'll see durations, so there's a pause of 5 frames between those first events and then these next events. Pause of 30 frames. So as I'm moving along, I am getting that functionality. And you'll see that below, a very specific information about what that individual function is doing. So up 1 takes us up to the above layer, up 1 again back to that home menu. Next we have our disk control, so being able to load and save files from our hard drive, or if a USB is connected, a USB disk type. Our attributes menu, which has our memory setup, our memory attributes, our copy ME, our copy buses, and copy keyers. And again, as we talk about copying events in later portions, this is where we will cover it. Our clip assignment menu. So when we're talking to a video server, we are able to assign clips in this menu. Since nothing has been set up to talk to a video server, it will tell us there are no devices. When we cover device setup, we will also be covering how the clips and clip functions work. Status menu. The status menu is the same menu as the switcher status, so it's the quick jump into this menu. Here we'll find the version info for our frames and panels, our IP addresses. We will find the complete status of the switcher and how everything is functioning with temperatures and information, our warnings, our non-synchronous input status, so every input board, sources, and status, as well as our non-sync status, being able on an ME by ME buses, as well as looking at the physical output boards, and those outputs are the sources that are selected in sync or not in sync. Then we've got our setup menu. So inside of setup, this is where we set up the switcher, and we'll cover that in a little bit. on the More page, here we'll find our Help menu. Now inside of the Help menu, this gives us a quick listing or a quick select. So I can see if I want to copy a key type, I can simply hold the key type in a keyer and press key type from another keyer. So I want to copy a wipe. To copy a wipe from a different ME, press and hold the wipe button on the transition module for the ME you want to copy to, so the destination. So on my panel, if I wanted to copy to ME3, I would hold down ME3's wipe button and I would press the wipe button from ME4. So now I've copied from here to that wipe resource. Hit the back button. The other thing that we have is this is another place to quickly jump to the manuals. So even though we have the manuals button here, this is where it resides in the menu system. And if I want that manual, because I've just updated my switcher, and now my switcher has that new manual, so in this case the new version 4 manual, I can simply plug a USB drive into the panel and press the copy manuals to USB. And that will give me that PDF onto the USB drive. So we have our help, our system shutdown menu. So in system shutdown, this allows us to shut the switcher down, restart the switcher, restart just the global store, update panel data. This isn't really needed much anymore. This was more used back when we had a Synergy switcher connected to the frame, and you would need to refresh the panel data if you disconnected the panel. We can just restart the panel, and in certain networks, we require a separate button for upgrading the panel. The frame will auto-upgrade the panel. However, if certain networks don't allow a push network connection system, then once the panel is up and running, we'll use this button to pull the data across. Diagnostics. So we have an upper level menu for diagnostics off the main menu. This allows me to get into panel diagnostics. I can go into, for example, module test, LED test, and now my LEDs will light up. We can go into device test, and now as we press buttons, we can see that that button, where it is, and the function is fine. So we have all these different tests. Display test, so it's going to make all the displays change colors and glow all the different colors, giving us the ability to modify our levels if we find one is brighter than the other, or it will help us discover dead pixels or dead displays. Frame diagnostics, you have a similar ability for transmission and reception tests of ports, GPI tests, dip switch tests, tally tests, and contact closure tests. Remote enables. So this is where we can come in to enable that editor control or that GPI control. It's also where we've hidden the dusting mode. So dusting mode is great. I got my switcher configured, set up, and I need to walk away for a little bit. If I come in here and use dusting mode, nothing we do on the panel will affect the switcher. It's essentially locked out. Now you have to come to the menu and double tap the exit button to get out. And then finally we have what we call the effects menu. Now the effects menu is the menu where all the autofollows are buried. So when I look under effects at the top level, you'll see key setup, border setup, still store, DVE, background generators, pattern selections, remote control, masks, audio, video correction, custom control shop box, MLE menu. All of these submenus aren't really ever accessed via the menu navigation. Generally, to get to any of those menus, we simply press the button that correlates to it, and that menu will auto-follow. Now, if we were to navigate our way up, we would note that this puts us one level deep from the main menu in the effects system. So it's very easy to navigate. So you have this top-down structure with sub-pages inside of them, with only a couple levels deep of total navigation. Now in our setup menu, this is where we're going to find the configuration of elements. We have our multi-viewer configuration, our bus map configuration. So again, inside of setup, same button as bus map. We have our network configuration setup, our installed options, which lets us look at our software options, our panel boards, and even our frame boards to see what's physically installed without having to actually go and pull any of the surfaces out of the modules. We have our personality menu and our installation menu. Now these two menus, though they're one extra level deep, they have quick selects from the main toolbar that are always present. Since these are the two most commonly used menus for configuration, we've put those on the toolbar for quick access. And we'll cover each section individually when we get into it. This is also where you're going to find your panel module control, your system time, and then a very important features is the ability to lock personality with one password and lock installation with a separate password. So that ability to lock installation and only give access to the engineering staff while allowing operators the ability to have a separate password for adjusting the way it behaves, so the personality of the panel. And you can also look in the installation menu status in case there are satellite panels that have permissions that may currently be inside of the menu. And you can override them from the master panel to be able to kick them out and take control of it if needed. So in this section, we've just covered our basic navigation of the menu, how it is that we navigate through the submenus, the dual display, how it works, and our toolbar quick select and where those relate to the switcher. Note that the menu system also is an intuitive auto-follow system. So I don't have to worry if a function on my panel has an associated menu with it. When I select that device, that button, anything to do with that will automatically toggle to the menu. And when it comes to keys that have multiple functions, so it has a DVE as well, if I was to have a DVE, for example, on an auto key, not only do I have a DVE menu, but when I press it, as it cycles through, it goes to auto key menu, DVE menu, auto key menu. So I don't have to navigate and have other tabs and reach up to the menu to jump back and forth between these associated menus. I can just cycle through them directly from the control surface. So that's the menu system. It's how it follows, and it's how it interacts with the control surface for you to navigate and access it. I hope you enjoyed this section on menus and look forward to the next section.